Hello everyone, this is part 38 of What If Naruto Came Back to Claim His Family's Name, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Naruto stood under a tent. The sun was almost down. The morning will bring a battle that would decide the fate of his village. So where do you want us? Asked Gaara as he stood beside his friend. You have the right flank, said Naruto. The tree and waterfall ninjas have the left. You know this is going to be hard, said Shikamaru. I know, and as a council member you aren't even supposed to be here, said Naruto. Flashback. Naruto stood at the main gate of his village. Suddenly Shikamaru, Neji and Kiba all walked up to them, packs on their backs. What are you guys doing? Asked Naruto. We are going with you, said Shikamaru. You can't go, you're council members, said Naruto. It's the law, you have to stay here. Well, as council members we can change laws, and we did it about an hour ago, said Kiba. We are going with you, so deal with it, fox brat. Besides, you will need all the help you can get, said Neji. Kakashi has control of the council at the moment, said Shikamaru. I see, said Naruto, knowing he lost the fight. Let's just get going. End flashback. Kit, you should get some rest, said Kyuubi as Naruto nodded. You need rest as well, Gaara, said Naruto as both Kage left the tent. Naruto walked by the line of tents until he reached the very back of the camp. Alright, I want IVs and blood stored up in 6 different locations. We don't want to lose all the medical supplies in one attack, ordered Sakura as the medical ninjas and some of Kyuubi's demon fox medics rushed around trying to get the battlefield medical base set up. How are things going? Asked Naruto. We will be online soon. Ino is setting up another center back in the village, said Sakura. Sakura's fox medics will bring people, as many people as they can there to get treated. Have you decided who you want to run this place? Asked Naruto. Unless I can talk you into staying back here. You can't, said Sakura. I am staying by your side. I thought so, said Naruto. Have you thought about who will stay back here? I was going with Hinura, but she wants to be with her husband and friends just as much as I do, so how can I stop her not to go? Asked Sakura. So I am going with her student Mai. I see, said Naruto. Hurry up, everyone needs some rest, even you. It won't, not much longer, said Sakura as the sun finally went down. Kushina threw a log on the fire. The sun had gone down an hour ago, but most people were still up and about. Everyone is scared about the battle tomorrow, thought Kushina as she looked into the fire. I know I am. Kushina, said Kib as he sat down beside her. Kib, you know you have been assigned to our squad, said Kushina. Yeah, only because Anko and Emi are still Chunin and are in the squad protecting the hospital, said Kib. So are you worried about working with our team? I mean, you never trained with me and Liz, you don't know how we work, said Kushina. I have trained with Liz, said Kib as he shipped some water from his canteen, when we went on our first date. Really, that is interesting in 2 ways, said Kushina. First, the fact that she didn't tell me, and second, that you said first date, so are there more in the future? If there is a future, said Kib with a grin. Liz will love to hear that, said Kushina. You should tell her, give her something to fight for. And the man you are fighting is resting in the tent behind us, said Kib as Kushina looked at Fugaku's and Kib's tent. He can't sleep, which is keeping me up. Maybe both of you could get some rest together. Kushina felt back a blush as Kib grinned. Slowly Kushina stood up and walked toward the tent. Just don't do anything, everyone can hear around here, said Kib as he lied on the ground. His dog laid down beside him, letting Kib use him as a pillow. Good boy. Fugaku tossed and turned as he tried to find a place to rest, but his mind just kept racing. Suddenly he heard a knock on the metal pole holding one end of the tent up. Enter, said Fugaku as he sat up. Kushina, is something wrong? I can't sleep, said Kushina. Join the club, said Fugaku. I just can't relax. I have an idea for that, said Kushina as she sat down beside Fugaku. Lie down. Fugaku fought a losing battle with a blush as Kushina decided to use his chest as her pillow. However, he found himself slowly relaxing as Kushina closed her eyes. Are you relaxing now? Asked Kushina, already knowing the answer by the slowing down of his heart. Yeah, said Fugaku. Good night, Kushina-chan. Night, Fugaku-kun, said Kushina as both teens fell asleep. Hours later, Sasuke walked out of his tent to find Naruto sitting by the sing fire. You know, this is the first time you have gotten up before me, said Sasuke as he sat across from his friend. In less than 2 hours many people will said Naruto. Yep, said Sasuke, and there is nothing you can do to stop that from happening. I know, said Naruto. I hoped that since the village has the power of Kyuubi behind it that I could be the first Hokage not to wage a war. Well, looks like that title will go to someone else, said Sasuke. So are you going to wear those stupid robes into battle? No, it is funny, I worked so hard to get those robes and that hat but I hardly ever wear them, said Naruto. I can't see how the third had them on all the time. I see you should get Sakura up, said Sasuke. It always took her long on missions when we were kids. I take offense to that, Sasuke, said Sakura as she walked a glass of coffee in her hand. I didn't have coffee back then. I guess so, said Sasuke with a chuckle. I better get the kids up. I'll get Kushina up, said Naruto as he joined his friend and walking toward the tents. They walked past the sing fire only to see Kib fast asleep. Sasuke walked over to his son's tent while Naruto headed to Kushina's without even knocking. Sasuke opened the flap and looked inside. What he found caused him to smile. His son wasn't alone. Kushina's head was on his son's chest and she had him wrapped up in her arms. He had his face in her hair and like Kushina his arms were around her. Both were smiling and relaxed. So what is where Kushina is, said Naruto as he looked inside. Yeah, said Sasuke. I remember when they went to the Chunin exams Ino told me something, said Naruto. Kushina Uchiha has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Looks like the future is heading that way, said Sasuke, but it makes me feel old. So should we wake them now? Asked Naruto. No, let Liz do it, said Sasuke as he turned to leave. Imagine waking up to see your parents standing over you. True, said Naruto as he took a look back at his daughter sleeping in the arms of her boyfriend. Meanwhile, across the darkened field, hundreds of dark portals open and the Quantum Demon Fox army walked out. Smell that, said Sakito. They are afraid. Yes, sir, said Saito. Shall I order the soldiers to move into combat points? Yes, we will follow the old rules before battle, said Sakito as he walked forward into the open field. An hour later, Kushina sat eating her breakfast as she watched Liz check her weapon pouch for the third time. I am trusting you not to tell my dad, I think he would freak out, said Kushina. I promise you I will not tell him, said Liz with a grin. And not father either, said Fugaku as he sat beside Kushina. All right, I promise not to tell anyone, said Liz before adding to herself, not until after the wedding at least. Well, I am going to talk to my parents for a bit, said Kushina as she headed toward her parents' tent. As she walked up, she found Sakura putting on her black gloves. Mom, Kushina, is something wrong? Asked Sakura. Besides the fact that we are about to going into a life or death battle? Asked Kushina. Yeah, that goes without saying, said Sakura. Mom, do you think we can win? Asked Kushina. Kushina, I don't know, from just looking at it, it seems impossible, said Sakura as Kushina lowered her head, but I know something, if anyone can make the impossible possible it is your father. He always seems to find a way. He did it when he defeated Gaara, brought Sasuke back and defeated the Akatsuki. I see, said Kushina, it's just. You're worried, scared and wondering if you can do this, said Naruto as he walked up. Yeah, said Kushina. Kushina, all ninjas feel like that before a battle, said Naruto, even I do. Kushina, when you are out there, just do the best you can and protect yourself and others, said Sakura as she hugged her daughter. And know that we love you. And that we are proud of you, said Naruto as Sakura let go of Kushina to let Naruto hug her. Suddenly Sai appeared. Sir, they are here, said Sai. Get everyone into position, ordered Naruto as people started rushing around. Gaara stood beside his brother as he looked out at a single black fox sitting out in the open field, his 10 tails thrashing around. You know, just sitting there he looks peaceful, said Kankuro as the sun started to come up. Most sly things don't look it from a distance, said Gaara. Yeah, said Temari as she and Shikamaru walked up. This is going to be such a drag, said Shikamaru as he pulled out a pack of cigarettes. A lot of things are a drag to you, little boy, said Temari as Shikamaru light up his cigarette. Besides, you didn't even have to be here. Well, worried about you and Emi while waiting for news back home would be worse than fighting this battle for me, said Shikamaru. Besides, aren't you going to tell me to stop smoking? Not today, little boy, said Temari as she pulled out a cigarette from her husband's pack and light it up. I love you, woman, said Shikamaru. I know, little boy, said Temari. Just perfect, said Rick. Worried? Asked Minuto Morino with a grin. Race you to the first K? Asked Kiko to her husband. You're on, said Minuto as he looked at his wife. Be careful. Same to you. I don't think I can find another idiot I can stand, said Kiko. Sometimes I wonder how you two could possibly be married, said Hinura as she looked at Rick. You know, as an assassin type you don't really have the chakra for a long battle. I know, but I have to do this, said Rick. I know, said Hinura. This is going to be fun, said Lee as Neji rolled his eyes. I see you haven't changed your outlook of a battle even if it looks like we have no hope, said Tenten. Yes, a fight when you are the underdog is always the best fight, said Lee as he did thumbs up to his teammates. It's been too long, Shino, said Hinata. It has been 10 years and 5 months since our last mission together, said Shino. Well, it's never too late to get the band back together, said Kiba with a grin. So are you ready for this? Asked Kib as he stood in the second line of ninjas. No, said Liz, but we are going to do it anyhow. Looks like you couldn't stop this, Saito, thought Mai as she lowered her head. Kushina and Fugaku looked at each other. Kushina turned her hand over as Fugaku reached down and held her hand, causing both teens to smile. What is he waiting on? Asked Naruto as he looked out at the sitting demon lord. Me, said Kyubi. By the old laws the battle must start between the leaders, and during the battle me and him must fight one-on-one. Kyubi-kun, said his Sakura, be careful. I will, said Kyubi as he walked forward out of the tree line towards Sakito in the open field. So the three of us are going to either win this one or go down together, said Sakura as she put some of her pink hair behind her ear. I guess so, said Sasuke as he turned on his Sharingan and pulled his sword. Send orders down the line. We attack when Kyubi and the 10 tails start battling, said Naruto to Sai. All right, said Sai as he disappeared, leaving the original Team 7 standing there. You know, Naruto, for a dupe you haven't been so bad, said Sasuke, causing Naruto to laugh a bit. A dupe is your Hokage, so what does that say about you? Asked Naruto. Nothing good, said Sasuke, but is anyone can pull this off at you? Sakura-chan. I know, Naruto-kun, I know, said Sakura as the two Namakazes looked at each other as Kyubi neared Sakito. So Kyubi, how do you want to said Sakito as he showed off his fangs as he sat up. As an elder fox, answered Kyubi as the two demon lords started circling each other. Sorry, not an option, said Sakito. Your choices are long and painful, or you can surrender and quickly. I am not surrendering, said Kyubi as red chakra appeared around his body and his eyes started glowing a deeper shade of red. Good, I wasn't going to let you, said Sakito as black chakra danced around him. His eyes didn't glow but instead turned solid black. The black and red demon chakra began clashing against each other as the two foxes kept circling in the middle of the battlefield. Everyone was on edge. You know, Kyubi, we could give these humans a show before they by making ourselves bigger, said Sakito. You and I both know that size is only a show. I want to fight you like this, said Kyubi as he showed his fangs. Very well, I will give it to you, said Sakito as both demons came to a stop across from each other. Prepare yourselves, Kyubi, for today, US. With that, both demon foxes pounced on each other. The battle had begun. The Kyubi lunged at Sakito only to be forced back into the ground. Sakito reached for Kyubi's tea in the hopes of spinning it out. However, Kyubi sent one of his tails forward, forcing Sakito away. Kyubi jumped to his feet and sent out a wave of fire. Sakito just grinned as he stood still as the fire rolled over him. Slowly the flames SD and Sakito stood there. You are weaker than I thought, Kyubi, said Sakito. I am not going down without a fight, said Kyubi. Meanwhile, two groups of foxes charged across the open field. One group made out of mostly black foxes charged forward sending demon chakra attacks at each other. The other group made out of different types of fox and behind them were Anbu from the different villages. At a distance the multi-elemental foxes began to fall to the attacks of the quantum fox. My god, said Kushina as she looked out into the battlefield. In the distance she could make out a sand Anbu being torn limb by a group of quantum foxes. Do you see any of them going down? Asked Kib. No, said Fugaku as his black Sharingan looked out over the battlefield. You know our parents are in that, said Liz. Yeah, and we're in the next wave, said Fugaku. Rasengan, yelled Naruto as he slammed his attack into a wounded demon quantum fox chest king it. Nice one dupe, said Sasuke as he used Chordy charged sword to cut off another enemy fox leg. Before he jumped back so that the two friends were back to back. Meanwhile Sakura punched a fox across the face sending it flying back. You know that fox wasn't injured so that will not K it. Said Sasuke as Sakura jumped back so that the three ninjas were back to back. I know but it should have one hell of a headache, said Sakura with a grin, and it made me feel better. Said Gaara as he used his sand to crush a fox head. Kankuro tried to use his puppet but it wasn't working that well. Will these things just already? Asked Kankuro as his second puppet fell to the ground. You thought this would be easy brother? Asked Temari as she teamed up with an ice fox to send a wave of ice toward the enemy foxes. I could hope, said Kankuro, so Shikamaru have you thought of a way to K them faster? Yeah, said Shikamaru as he threw a kunai, shut up and fight. How are we doing Hinata? Asked Kiba as he threw a lunging fox away. Not well, said Hinata as she looked out with her Byakugan, half the Anbu and the elite foxes are gone but our friends are still up. Enemy forces? Asked Shino. Still advancing, said Hinata. 8 trigrams palms heavenly spin. Yelled Neji as he started sending foxes back. Tenten was inside the dome of chakra her husband made throwing out kunais with paper bomb trying to force the foxes back. The few that had been injured she ked but most were unharmed and unable to be ked by her. Neji kunai have already gone through 2 scrolls, 1 have 3 more and then I am out, said Tenten. And I can't keep this up forever, said Neji. Keep your heads up my youthful friends, said Lee as he appeared and gave a thumbs up even as he roundhouse kicked a fox across the face. We will Lee, said Tenten but suddenly a black tail went through Lee's chest. Lee. Neji turned around just in time to see his friend fall to the ground, blood pouring out of his chest. A large black fox stood behind his friend grinning. Before both Hyuga eyes the tail can across their friend's shoulder. For a second nothing happened, then Lee's head fell to the ground a second before his body. Lee, said Neji as he and Tenten charged toward the fox that had ked their friend. Look like it's our turn, said Rick as he pulled his hidden sword. There wouldn't be time to pull it, turning the battle. Yep, said Minuto as he pulled his 2 short curved swords. So shall we go, said Keiko as she pulled her katana out. Tell the Chunin throwers in the trees to cover us, ordered Minuto to Rajonen. Yes, sir, said the Jonin as Rick looked up at the Chunin throwing wave after wave of kunai and other weapons at the enemy from spots in the tree. Okay, let's go, said Minuto. There is the signal, said Kib as they started to run toward the battle. Mai ran in front of Kushina and the others in the line of demon foxes. As the battle neared, a smell came across stronger than all others. Over the smell of death and blood she smelled him. Saito, said Mai. In the back line of the quantum foxes Saito stood with the second wave. Sir, the humans have sent in their second wave, said an aide. I see, said Saito as he closed his eyes. Tell the men to be ready, we move out on my order. Yes, sir, said the fox as he walked away. Saito just stood there bracing himself for what was coming. Suddenly he smelled her scent coming from the center right. MIA, thought Saito as he opened his eyes and looked toward the area. Sir, all forces are ready, said that fox. All right, move out, said Saito as his forces moved onto the battlefield. Give up Kyubi, said Sakito as he threw Kyubi though a small tree breaking it half. Never, said Kyubi as opened his mouth and sent a raging ball of fire forward. Sakito grinned as he disappeared though time and space and reappeared beside Kyubi. I would say nice try, but it wasn't, said Sakito as he sent one of his tails across the shoulder of Kyubi's front leg drawing the first blood of the match. Kyubi jumped back, his warm blood flowing down his leg. He winced at the pain, causing Sakito to laugh. That is just the beginning, Kyubi, the pain has just begun, said Sakito. Rasengan, yelled Kushina. Chordy, yelled Fugaku as the two of them slammed the combined attack at one of the foxes that Mai had wounded. Nice one, you two, said Kib. Thanks, said Fugaku as suddenly three all-black foxes with healed old wounds on their boss and a mark over the right eye walked forward. Crap, said Mai. What? Asked Kushina as she looked at the foxes. Those marks mean that they elite combat group, said Mai. Yes, my daughter of the Kyubi, said the head fox. We are here to KU, said the other. Crap, said Kushina. I have gotten one, said Minuto as he whipped the blood from his blade. One, I am on two, said Kiko with a grin as her husband just rolled his eyes. It doesn't matter how many you K, just K them, said Rick before Hinura ran over to him. Rick, you need to pull back, whispered his wife, you're almost out of chakra. You don't need chakra to swing a sword, Hinura, said Rick. 8 enemy foxes are falling back all injured, said Hinata as she looked through the field at the foxes falling back to their own lines. Then we can get them, said Kiba. But how? They are on the other side of the line, asked Hinata. I don't know, said Kiba. I do, said Shino. Kiba, can you open a hole in their line? How big do you want it? Asked Kiba. I just need to get though, said Shino. Alright, fang or fang, yelled Kiba as a mini tornado forced the demons aside. Goodbye, Hinata, said Shino as Hinata's eyes widened as Shino ran though the opening Kiba had made. Looks like he got through, said Kiba as he landed next to his wife. What? He said goodbye, Kiba, said Hinata as Kiba's eyes widened. You don't think he would? Asked Kiba as Hinata nodded. Damn that winged fox, said a quantum fox as he limped toward their medical area. At least you got harmed by a winged fox. I was hurt by a low-sound fox. I shamed myself, said another as suddenly a human appeared in front of them. Look, a snack, said one of them. He is too small to share, so I call him. I missed breakfast today, said a fox as he licked his lips. You should never underestimate something that is small, said Shino as he raised his hand and sent out every last bug living inside him out. Shino fell to the ground as a swarm of bugs followed his last order and swarmed the foxes, king them. He is gone, said Hinata as both her and her husband lowered their heads. Damn it, said Kib as his attack missed the small wound that Mai had opened on the commando fox. Out of my way, human, yelled the fox as he spun around, hitting Kib in the chest with his tail, sending him flying the good quarter of a mile back to the tree line where they started. Kib hit the tree hard before falling over, not moving at all. Kib, yelled Liz. Go to him, take him to the medical tent, ordered Kushina. Even if the human isn't S now, he will be, said a fox. Kushina looked at the three foxes. All three had small wounds on them that MIA had opened. Fugaku, I need you to cover me, said Kushina. You got it, said Fugaku. You know it is kind of bad that we have to KU Mai. For such a young vixen you are surprisingly strong, said the fox as they neared Mai. Suddenly a spike in chakra got their attention. Slowly the three quantum foxes turned around to see Kushina with two clones working on a Rasengan. Suddenly the spinning ball of chakra stopped and turned solid gold. This worked on Itachi, it will work on you, said Kushina as disappeared in a flash of light and reappeared in front of the middle fox. Golden Rasengan. All over the battlefield people ducked from the massive blast of wind as the Rasengan went off. Kushina, said Naruto as he looked toward where his daughter had used the unlimited form of Rasengan. Pain from fox claws running across his arm brought him back to the battle at hand. Kushina, yelled Fugaku as he ran into the creator she had made. His heart stopped as he found her at the very bottom, face down in the dirt. Kushina, asked Fugaku as he flipped her over into his arms. Her face was covered in dirt and blood rolled down her very broken arm. Gaku, said Kushina. Fugaku, take her, get her out of here, said Mai as she appeared out of the rubble. Fugaku nodded before looking back to Kushina. Don't worry, Kushina, I'll take you to the medical area, said Fugaku as he headed back. I got to find my dad, said Mai. This isn't looking good, said Naruto as they threw some kunai with explosive tags on him at a black fox. You thought it would easily? Asked Sasuke as raised his sword as an enemy fox bit down on his sword. Suddenly the fox bit down harder, breaking Sasuke's sword. Sasuke! Yelled Sakura as the fox bit down on Sasuke's shoulder, fangs digging into Sasuke's F's. While the fangs were still in, Sasuke ran through hand singes. Fireball Eustace! Yelled Sasuke, sending the fox flying back, taking part of his arm with him. Sakura ran to her teammate who was down on one knee, his good arm holding where he was bitten. Let me see it, ordered Sakura as Sasuke moved his arm. Sakura's eyes widened as she looked at the injury. She could see Sasuke's bones and blood was coming out fast. An artery had to be broken. Naruto-kun, I need to get him to the medical tent now to have any chance of living. Go! Ordered Naruto as Sakura and Sasuke disappeared in a flash of light, leaving Naruto alone on the front line. It would seem that victory is mine, Kyuubi, said Sakito as the Kyuubi looked up at him, his leg bleeding out of control and his chakra almost gone. It would seem, said Kyuubi as he struggled to stand up. At least you have the honor to stand in while us instead of waiting for death on the ground like a coward, said Sakito as his tails thrashed around. Dad! Yelled Mai as she watched the tails come closer to her dad. Suddenly Saito appeared beside his dad. Sir, I have a report, said Saito. Not now, snapped Sakito. Sir, it is important, said Saito. What? Yelled Sakito as he turned to face his son, however as he did a black tail ran right across his N. Blood came gushing out of Sakito's N as he fell down to the ground. The Kyuubi's eyes widened as he looked at Saito's blood-covered tail. You have been removed from command by order of the council, said Saito as he stood over his father. What? Asked Sakito as he felt his legs and tails go numb in the upcoming deaths. The council doesn't like being lied to, father, and they ordered your death, said Saito. You always thought I was too much like my mother. Turns out there is more of you in me than I like. I hope you spend the rest of time in hell. You know, for the first time in my life I think I am proud of you, son, said Sakito as Saito raised an eyebrow. You showed strength to bad, you are still so weak your rule will be short. We shall see, now hurry up and yelled Saito as he charged up, chakra in his tail turning the hair into a sly weapon. He sent his tail flying through the air so it went right through his father's skull. Why? Asked Kyuubi as he looked at extremely young Fox. Why would you help us? Thank your daughter, said Saito as he pulled his tail out of his father's head. You do know what is going to happen next? Asked Kyuubi. Yep, said Saito as a ball of black chakra formed around his father. Saito lowered his head as the ball shot out, hitting him in the chest. Saito shook as the chakra danced around him. Saito! Yelled Mai as she ran forward. Stop! Ordered Kyuubi as Mai stopped in her tracks. Dad, what is going on with him? Asked Mai as she could barely see Saito through the chakra and a look of pure pain filled his face. He is hurting, we have to help him. There is nothing we can do, he killed the 10-tailed demon fox. He has to take his place, said Kyuubi as the black chakra began to slow down. Soon 10 strains of chakra danced around him and a second later those strains had turned into tails. Saito fell to the ground, all his tails went limp. Mai couldn't help it anymore, she ran forward slowing down only as she reached Saito. He wasn't moving as Mai tapped her nose to his. Please wake up, pleaded Mai as she prayed for any sign of life. Suddenly Saito took in a breath of air. I'm awake, said Saito as he opened his eyes and slowly stood up. Feels weird, doesn't it? Asked Kyuubi, having all that new power at your control. Yes, I will get used to it, later, said Saito. Kyuubi of the Fire Foxes, I believe you, and I have to talk about a peaceful ending to this war. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.